Alrighty, good evening, everybody. Out here we have Baylor competing compulsory acro. And on the floor we have Aaliyah Thomas, Meredith Wells, Kenzie Schlab, Levy McDonald, Peyton Washington, Mo Arthur, Josie Sutter, Donnie Branch, and Nova Schmidt. You got a good height on those toe pitches right there. And some good synchronization on those foot tuck-offs. Good job on those popovers. Got nice synchronization there as well. And we have a little bobble on the left on Aaliyah Thomas's side. Nice open full downs. That was a pretty good job by the Baylor Bears. They were doing pretty good, except that bobble on the left side of the that switch up full down. And we'll see how they do. So this event is compulsory, so it is basically the building blocks of every single thing. So both teams do the exact same thing, and the judges get to see the difference, and we'll judge based on that. Up next, we'll have the Saint Leo Lions. Alrighty, now we have St. Leo on the floor. We have Julia Mellinger, Eliza Espinal, Liliana DeBardinis, Vanessa Swistock, Aislinn Westcott, Emma Stetsky, Mia Zadonowick, Addison Oakley, and counting is Victoria Billings. Got some nice toe pitches. Nice timing on the tuck-offs. Now we got the popovers. Good timing on that as well. Nice holds. Yes, and nice timing on the pop-offs. Now we're on to the switch-ups. And we have a little bobble on the right and nice timing on the full downs, pretty full downs. It was a pretty overall heat for both of the teams. Both of them just had a slight bobble on their switch-ups, but nothing else seemed, to stand out. At least that was an issue. Everything seemed pretty good and pretty clean from both teams and pretty solid. And now the judges will score now, and we'll move on to compulsory pyramid event. All right, next up we have the compulsory pyramid heat from Baylor. And in this one, we have Michaela Vasquez, Mo Arthur, Gigi Rendino, Bailey Gartno, Kenzie Schlab, Tennyson Leby, Gabby Kaminsky, Meredith Wells, Carly Bruno, Donnie Branch, Josie Sutter, Levy McDonald, and counting is Emily Bott. Nice timing on the up. Some pretty straddles there from both sides. Some nice catches there, pretty high catches. And that was a pretty solid heat for Baylor. They did really well. I think that looked pretty good overall. Not much to say about that one. Alrighty, up next we have St. Leo in the compulsory pyramid heat. We have Victoria Billings, Kyra Walker, Carolyn Jackson, Isabella Gillis, Katie Santese, Heidi Schwartzman, Mia Zadanowick, Julia Mellinger, Jessia Santiago, Aislinn Westcott, Eliza Espinal, Yaniel Andino. And counting, we have Brianna Tremino. Some good timing on those ups. Nice easy glides. Beautiful straddles there that we have. And some nice timing and good catches on those. This is a pretty good heat for both of them. I think it's going to be pretty hard to score both of those because they're very, very good. Seems like they're very excited about that as well. And up next is going to be the compulsory toss heat with the Baylor Bears competing that one. Alrighty, up here we have Baylor coming out on the floor for the compulsory toss heat. We have Emily Bott, Meredith Wells, Levy McDonald, Tennyson Levy, Becca Moore, Peyton Washington, Donnie Branch, Mo Arthur, Kenzie Schlab, Josie Sutter, and counting is Nova Schmidt. We have some nice height on that one. Really nice height on that one and a good open on those tucks. That's one thing that the judges do look for is that open on those tucks in the air. But yeah, it was a pretty solid heat. I think it looked pretty good overall. Up next is going to be the St. Leo Lions with their toss heat. Alrighty, up next we have St. Leo in the compulsory toss heat. We have Eliza Espinal, Karis Fuqua, Julia Mellinger, Emma Stutsky, Isabella Gillis, Carolyn Jackson, Jessica Santiago, Katie Santis, Kaylee Banks, Aislinn Westcott, and counting, we have Kyra Walker. We have some good height on those tucks, some good timing on those. It looks so good overall from both teams. I think both teams are doing very well. Looks like the teams are very excited about that one. And this is the first meet here at St. Leo. First meet for both teams. Having the home opener here. It's very excited. We have the pretty much a lot of the stands pretty filled over here, both with Baylor parents and friends and St. Leo friends and family as well. Looks like it's going to be a good match tonight. Up next, we have the Baylor Bears competing in the last final heat of the compulsory event, tumbling. On the floor, we have Nova Schmidt, Peyton Washington, Sarah Kerr, Gabby Kaminsky, Emily Bott, Lexi Lannon, Ashleen Tannehill, and Gigi Rendino. Got some nice timing on there, little to no steps. Had a few hops on that one, but overall looks pretty well with the timing. Overall, that was a pretty good heat from the Baylor Bears. Sorry, we had some technical difficulties. But up next, we're going to have the St. Leo Lions competing in the compulsory tumbling event, which is the last event of this heat. All right, we have the St. Leo Lions going out there now for the tumbling. And we have Angelique Carterucci out there, Liliana DeBardinis, Alyssa Huang, Aislinn Westcott, Jessica Santiago, Haley Free, Maddox Reski, Ashley Anguiano, and counting we have Eliza Espinal. Looks pretty good with the timing there. That was pretty good timing right there. A few steps I see. that happen, but nothing major like that. Now we're on to the layouts. Some pretty good timing and with just a step in the front there. But overall, really solid heat by the Lions. Looks really good. And I'll be back with the scores from each heat. And we're going to be moving on to the acro event, which they basically get a little bit more free range on what they can do, in competing. So usually they have their certain starting values, and it depends on how the difficulty of the skill is, and they get scored based on how they execute it. Alrighty, now we have the scores in for the compulsory event.
Compulsory acro.
All right, we're starting with compulsory acro from
9.600.
we got Baylor and compulsory acro.
9.550.
Baylor got a 9.60 and St. Leo got a 9.5. 9.55.
University 9.950.
And St. Leo got a 9.95, beating the Baylor Bears on that event.
Applause. Baylor University 9.750. St. Leo University 9.700.
All right, and in compulsory toss, Baylor got a 9.750 and St. Leo got a 9.700.
650. St. Leo University 8.500.
And then in compulsory tumbling,
37.900. St. Leo University 37.700.
alrighty. So I'll just quickly go over the scores again. Baylor University got a 9.600 in compulsory acro, and St. Leo got a 9.550 in compulsory pyramid. They got a Baylor University got a 9.900, and St. Leo got a 9.950, winning that heat. And in compulsory toss, Baylor University got a 9.750, and St. Leo got a 9.700. And in compulsory toss or tumbling, Baylor University got an 8.650, and St. Leo with the 8.500. Now we are moving on to the acro event. We are in the 5-element heat, so they have to do 5 different skills. On the floor, we have Levy McDonald, Maddie Jensen, and Becca Moore. And it looks like they're doing a high hand-in-hand to a split. Ooh, there's barely any movement there, down into a straddle. It looks pretty good. They only have 45 seconds to complete the skills on the floor. That looks pretty solid. No movement, no steps. That was a really good heat for the Baylor Bears. And then when we come back, we will have the St. Leo Lions competing in the 5-element heat in acro. Alrighty, we have St. Leo taking the floor for the 5-element heat in acro. On the floor, we have Aislinn Westcott, Addison Oakley, Emma Stutsky, Jessica Santiago, and then counting, we have Brianna Treminio. We had a nice toe pitch, and now we have a full off there. And no movement on that landing, and now it looks like they're going to go to a high hand-in-hand assisted. And there's no movement there. It looks really beautiful. Coming down into a straddle. Wow, that looks so good. And their start value here is going to be, and the crowd is going crazy for it. I think they loved it. And the start value looks like it's going to be a 10 for the both teams, so they both start at a 10. And up next, we're going to have the 6-element heat for the compulsory event. I mean, for the acro event, excuse me, I'm sorry. Up next is going to be the 6-element heat. We have Baylor University starting with a 10.00 start value. On the floor, we have Gabby Kaminsky, Cassie Karnbach, Josie Sutter, Peyton Washington, Sophia Criado, Ellie Lenev, Donnie Branch, Ashlyn Tannehill, and Nova Schmidt counting. And it looks like they went up into a straddle, and they are pressing up into a handstand there. And it looks like they're pressing back down into that handstand. There was a little bit of timing issues on the down. And it looks like they're going to change bases and tops. Now with Peyton Washington on the right. And Ashlyn Tannehill on the left. Very fun celebration there. Little to no movement there. Just a little bit of that timing on the down when they press down into the straddles. Otherwise, it was a pretty solid heat from the Bears. Let's see what the Lions have to bring in their 6-element heat for the acro event. Up next, we have Saint Leo taking the floor for the Acro 6 event. And on the floor, we're going to have Yaniel Andino, Isabella Gillis, Julia Mellinger, Emma Stutsky, Eliza Espinal, Angelique Carterucci, Vanessa Swistock, Heidi Schwartzman, and counting Victoria Billings. And it looks like we have some toe pitches, and we have a step on the left. We have the toe pitches actually facing to the left. And now it looks like they're going into assisted high hand and hands. Some good timing there. Little movement and some good timing on the way down into a pike there. Pretty good heat overall for these girls. Looks like just besides that little step, it was all really, really good. So proud of them. And up next is going to be the 7-element heat for the acro event, starting off with the Baylor Bears. Alrighty. Up next, we're going to have the Baylor University Bears on the floor competing the Acro 7 element heat. And on the floor, we're going to have Emily Bach, Meredith Wells, Michaela Vasquez, Mo Arthur. And it doesn't look like there's going to be a counter for this one. Beautiful walk into extension with Emily Bach on top. Into a half around, really nice height and no steps. And next they're changing flyer and base. And it looks like they're going into a high hand in hand into one hand. This is slightly shaky, but overall pretty good. Very impressive from the Baylor Bears. Really good heat from them. And up next, we're going to have Saint Leo University and the Lions competing in the 7-element heat for Acro event. And next up, starting with the start value of 10.0, just like the Baylor Bears, is Saint Leo in the Acro 7 heat. We have Carolyn Jackson, Haley Free, Katie Santis, and Angelique Carterucci. And counting is Eliza Espinal. And it looks like we have a walk-in here to a half around with Haley on top. So a beautiful layout. And now we're going into Angelique Carterucci on the top with Carolyn basing and Katie basing as well. Into a high hand in hand arch. Pretty good heat overall from them. They did very, very well. Good job from the Lions. Next up is going to be the pyramid event with 3 heats, the inversion, duo, and open pyramid. But while that happens, we are waiting to get the scores back from the judges, and we're going to announce that when we get those. We'll be back with those scores. Baylor Bears coming out for Pyramid Heat 1, which is the inversion pyramid. On the floor, we're going to have Michaela Vasquez, Mo Arthur, Donnie Branch, Bailey Garnto, Ellie Laneve, Cassie Karnbach, and Kenzie Schlapp. We're going to have thigh stands, and then we're going to have the mid go straight up into a high hand-in-hand. And then she's going to pike through, come through the middle, and gently land. Pretty solid heat for the Bears. And for the totals, for the scores for the acro heats, we have Baylor University in Heat 1 with a 9.950, and St. Leo University with a 9.850. Then we have Baylor University for Heat 2, 9.900, and St. Leo with a 9.250. For Heat 3, we have Baylor University with a 9.900, and we have St. Leo with a 9.750. And next up, we have St. Leo with a 10.0 start value, as well as the Bears. And we have them for the inversion pyramid heat. On the floor, we have Angelique Carterucci, Carolyn Jackson, Katie Santis, Victoria Billings, Kyra Walker, Eliza Espinal, Mia Zdanowic, Addison Oakley, Jessica Santiago, and the counter is Brianna Treminio. We have thigh stands in the mid, and we have a holder, a brace for the mid. We have a nice glide, went up into a high hand-in-hand. And held it for 3 seconds with a beautiful catch there. And with a fun celebration to get off the mat. It was a very solid heat for both teams. I'm excited to see what these scores are going to be. All right, up next we have the duo pyramid. Up first is going to be the Baylor Bears with the start value of a 10.0. On the floor, we're going to have Emily Bott, Meredith Wells, Gigi Rendino, Bailey Garnto, Nova Schmidt, Ellie Lanave, Cassie Karnbach, Maddie Jensen, Peyton Washington, Levy McDonald, Carly Bruno, Donnie Branch, Kenzie Schlapp, Josie Sutter, Tennyson, Leby, and Becca Moore. And counting, we have Aaliyah Thomas. Looks like there's going to be 2 thigh stands on both sides. And it looks like they're loading up into a straight walk-in extension. Timing was pretty good on both sides. And a nice soft landing for the tops. On the left, we had Emily Bott, and on the right, we had Peyton Washington. That was pretty good for them. It's pretty solid heat for them. Up next, we're going to have the St. Leo University Lions competing in the duo pyramid event. Alrighty, now we have the St. Leo Lions on the floor with a start value of a 10.0. And on the floor we have Victoria Billings counting in the middle. And we are going to have Julia Mellinger, Jessica Santiago, Aislinn Westcott, Addison Oakley, Heidi Schwartzman, Emma Stutsky, Carolyn Jackson, Isabella Gillis, Eliza Espinal, and Mia Zdanowic. Pretty good timing on those glides for both sides. Beautiful straddles on both sides. And perfect timing on that landing there from them. And it looks like we're doing a piggyback off. That was so good from both sides. So exciting. And the running score for the meet is going to be, for Baylor University, is 67.650, and the St. Leo Lions with 66.550. Just about a 1.1 difference between the both of them, and it's honestly looking really good. It looks like it's gonna continue to be a close meet between the both of them. All right, up next we have Baylor University with the Heat 3 for open pyramid. And on the floor we are going to have Michaela Vasquez, Josie Sutter, Bailey Garnto, and Levy McDonald. And there is no counter for this. And it looks like it's going to be a squat type of pyramid. Into a straddle. Just a little bit of movement on the bottom there and a little bit of hesitation. It looks like she's going to drop down into a bridge. A very uncommon pyramid that they're doing there. Just a little shaky with the bottom layer of that, the most bottom layer of that. But overall, looks pretty good. Up next is going to be the St. Leo Lions competing in the open pyramid. Alrighty, up next we have St. Leo taking the mat for Pyramid 3, which is the open pyramid with a start value of a 10.0. On the floor, we're going to have Julia Mellinger, Jessica Santiago, Aislinn Westcott, Addison Oakley, Heidi Schwartzman, Emma Stutsky, Carolyn Jackson, Isabella Gillis, Eliza Espinal, Mia Zdanowic, and counting we have Victoria Billings. And it looks like we're going into a one-man pyramid. It looks so good. She really got under it, made it look very effortless. Little movement on that, if any. And a nice down. Looked really good. Really, really good from the Lions. Alrighty, and that concludes the pyramid event. And now we are going into halftime. And within 3 minutes left in halftime, that's when the score will be announced for the pyramid event. And then after halftime, it'll be the toss event, the tumbling event, and then the final team event. Join us after halftime. Thank you. Alrighty, we're back from halftime, and I got the scores in for the pyramid event. In Pyramid Heat 1, the inversion pyramid, Baylor University scored a 10.00, a perfect 10. And in the synchronized heat, and St. Leo got a 9.850. In the synchronized heat, Baylor University scored a 9.900, and St. Leo University scored a 9.850. In the open heat, Baylor University scored an 8.800, and St. Leo University scored a 9.850, making the event total 29.650 for St. Leo and 28.700 for Baylor University. St. Leo winning that event. And for the total running score is going to be St. Leo with 96.100 and Baylor University with 96.350. And now we are going to be in the toss 1 event, or the toss event with Heat 1, and it's going to be a start value of a 9.90 with a double full. And on that floor, it was Ashlyn Tannehill, Josie Sutter, Casey Kornbach, Ellie Lanive, and Kenzie Schlab. And then up next, we are going to have the St. Leo Lions for the toss Heat 1. Alrighty, now we have St. Leo University taking the mat for toss Heat 1, and the start value is going to be a 9.0 with Julia Mellinger, Eliza Espinal, Karis Fuqua, Emma Stutsky, and Isabella Gillis on the top, and Kyra Walker counting. And it looks like they did a nice layout toss. There was barely any piking there, and a nice clean catch with no movement on it. Pretty good heat for them. And then up next is going to be the duo toss, which is just 2 toss groups together synchronized. And it's going to be the Baylor Bears coming up in just a short minute. Alrighty, now we have Baylor taking the mat for the synchronized toss heat. And in this heat, we have Peyton Washington, Tennyson Levy, Mo Arthur, Donnie Branch, Meredith Wells, Ashlyn Tannehill, Josie Sutter, Cassie Karnbach, Ellie Leneve, Kenzie Schlab, and Nova Schmidt counting. And it looks like we're going to do 2 double fulls with Peyton Washington on the left and Ashlyn Tannehill on the right. And that was a pretty good heat. Doesn't look like there were any steps. Pretty good height on both and a nice solid catch. Up next is going to be the St. Leo Lions coming in for the synchronized heat. Alrighty, and start with the start value of a 9.4. We're going to have St. Leo University on the mat here, and we are going to have Julia Mellinger, Eliza Espinal, Karis Fuqua, Heidi Schwartzman, Ashley Anguian on the top, on the left side, and then we have Katie Santis, Carolyn Jackson, Jessica Santiago, Yaniel Andino, Aislinn Westcott on the top on the right, and then we have Kyra Walker counting in the middle there. And it looks like they're going to be 2 fulls on the side there, 2 fulls in the middle, and it looks like we did have a little bit of a fall there on the left side. Up next is going to be the 3rd heat, which is the open toss heat, and Baylor University is going to be up next. All right, in the 3rd and final heat of the toss event, we are going to have Baylor with a start value of a 10.0. And on the mat, we are going to have Peyton Washington as the top. And we're going to have Tennyson Levy, Mo Arthur, Donnie Branch, Meredith Wells, and Nova Schmidt counting. And it looks like it's going to be a really beautiful kick double there. And a really nice catch on that. Pretty good event for the Baylor Bears in general for all 3 heats. Up next is going to be the St. Leo Lions competing in that 3rd heat for the toss. Alrighty, now we got St. Leo on the floor competing the third heat in the toss event. And the start value is going to be a 9.4. On the floor, we are going to have Katie Santese, Carolyn Jackson, Jessica Santiago, Yaniel Andino, and Aislinn Westcott as the top, with Kyra Walker counting. And that was a nice, beautiful full and a nice catch between all of them. And with no steps there, had a really good height and a really good catch. Pretty good heat for them. And now we're going to take a short break until we get the scores back for the toss heat, and then we're going into our next event for the tumbling event. Alrighty, we got the scores back from the toss event. In Heat 1, Baylor University scored a 9.650 and St. Leo got a 8.750. In Heat 2, Baylor University scored a 9.600 and St. Leo scored a 8.350. Now we have Emily Bott and Lawrence Owens with the duo tumbling heat for that. And their start value is a 9.750. And to finish up these toss scores, the last heat was Baylor University scored a 9.850 and St. Leo University scored a 9.200, making the totals for that event Baylor University with 29.100 and St. Leo with a 26.300. And the running total for both teams, Baylor University had with 125.450 and St. Leo with a 122.500. Next up, we're going to have St. Leo University with the duo tumbling heat with Carolyn Jackson and Maddox Reski. All right, we have Carolyn Jackson and Maddox Reski here doing the duo tumbling heat. And we got a round off, whip, back handspring into a full and a half. He's got some pretty good timing between the both of them, and they both landed on their feet. So it looks pretty good for the both of them. I think they're very happy with it. Up next is going to be the trio heat in the tumbling event with Baylor University. Alrighty, up next we have the trio heat in the tumbling event, and the start value is a 9.55, and we have Ashley Tannehill, Gigi Randino, and Aaliyah Thomas. Looks like doing a roundhouse back handspring, full and a half step out to a full and a half. There was some timing issues a little bit in the beginning between them. However, it was pretty good form-wise, height-wise, between all of them. I think overall it was pretty good, except that timing, that little bit of timing issue that they had. And then next up, we're gonna have the trio heat with the Saint Leo Lions. Alrighty, up next we have the Saint Leo Lions, and in the trio heat we have Jessica Santiago, Ashley Anguiano, and Brooklyn Lambert, and we have a start value of an 8.75 from the Saint Leo Lions. Got some really good timing. Everyone landed on their feet from that round off back handsprings, full and a half. Everything looks pretty solid on that heat. Alrighty, and now we have the quad heat for the tumbling. We have a start value of a 10.00 for the Baylor Bears, and on the floor is going to be Peyton Washington, Sophia Criado, Sarah Kerr, and Gabby Kaminsky. We're gonna have four athletes tumbling here. We're doing a punch front, step out, back handspring, 1.5 step out to a full. That looks pretty good. I think there was slight timing issues, if I'm not mistaken, but overall it was a really, really good heat for them. Very pretty tumbling. They seem very happy about that. And next up we're gonna have Saint Leo. with their tumbling heat for the quad heat. Alrighty, up next we have the quad heat for St. Leo University, and we have Blair Reed, Karis Fuqua, Liliana Debordinis, and Kaylee Banks with a start value of an 8.00. It looks like we're going to do a round-off back handspring into a full. And yes, that timing looked so good between the Lions. Looks like they're very happy about that one. Next up, we're going to have the Baylor Bears competing in the next heat, which is the aerial heat. These are the solo heats. So it would just be one athlete out there doing a tumbling pass.
Number 7.
Alrighty, now we have Emily Bott here, number 7, with the start value of a 10.0 in the aerial heat for the tumbling event. Looks like she's going to do a round off whip, 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 handspring to a full and a half. Really pretty stuff right there. Great job from Emily Bott. Up next is going to be the St. Leo Lions and the aerial heat. Next up, we have Alyssa Huang, number 6 from Saint Leo University for the aerial heat in the tumbling event. We're going to do a round off whip, 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 handspring to a full. Beautiful pass from Alyssa. Really beautiful pass from her. Looks really, really good. Seems like the team is happy about that one. Next up, we're going into the 6-element heat, and we're going to start off with the Baylor Bears. Alrighty, now we have the Baylor Bears, and the start value is going to be at 10.0. We have Gigi Rendino, number 5, for the 6-element heat for the Baylor Bears. It looks like she's going to do a round off, whip, Arabian to a round step out to a back handspring, 1.5. Almost just missed that mat. Almost stepped off of it, but she saved it. Looks like it was pretty good from her. And the team is very happy about that one. Next up, we're going to have the Saint Leo University Lions compete in the 6-element heat. Next up, we have a start value of a 9.75. We have number 20, Maddox Resky, on the St. Leo University side here, doing the 6-element pass. Looks like we're going to do a round off, whip, whip, hand, hand, and into a full 1.5. And she goes crazy for that landing. It looked really, really good. Looks like both teams are doing really well in these tumbling events, in the tumbling event. Alrighty, we are in that last heat of the tumbling event. We are in the open heat, and on the Baylor Bears side, we have number 9, Peyton Washington here, with the start value of a 10.0. It looks like she's going to be doing a punch front, step out, hand, into a full and a half, step out, into a full. Looks pretty good. Up next, we're going to have the Saint Leo Lions into that last event, or the last heat before the final event, the team event. All right, lastly, we have from the St. Leo side, we have Emma Lay, number 0, in the open heat for the tumbling event, with the start value of 9.55. Looks like she's going to do a punch front, step out, round off, backhand spring 1.5, and with a really good landing, really good form. Great job overall. Next up, we are going into the last event, which is the team event, which is basically a 2.5-minute routine, just about with everything compiled into one routine together, with some music and a little dance at the end. First up is going to be Baylor University, but we will get our scores before that.
8.79 start value.
Alrighty, we got the Baylor Bears coming on for the team event, the last event. For the scores real quick, we got the Baylor Bears in the Heat 1, the duo Heat 9.350, and St. Leo with 9.150. Baylor in the trio Heat got a 8.850, St. Leo with an 8.000. In the quad Heat, Baylor with a 9.350. We're going to watch the team event now, and I'll finish the scores once we're done. That was the overall team event for the Baylor Bears. We did have a little bit of a fall in the beginning, but that is okay overall. I think it was a really good team event for them. And back to the scores for the tumbling event. I'll start over again in the duo Heat, Baylor University.
In between this break, you guys are in for a treat. Here at St. Leo University, each year I have to present a cartwheel to our academics. I would like to go on record and say this is the last cartwheel I will ever do in my life. No, it's not.
All right, there was Marcel with his cartwheel there, his famous cartwheel. Back to the scores for the third time. Baylor University in the duo Heat, they scored a 9.350. St. Leo with an 9.150. I'm sorry. In the trio Heat, Baylor University with the 8.850. St. Leo University with an 8.000. In the quad Heat, Baylor University with a 9.350. St. Leo University with a 7.350. In the aerial Heat, Baylor University with a 9.825, and then St. Leo University with a 9.250. In the 6 element heat, Baylor University with a 9.500, and St. Leo University with a 9.500 as well. In the last heat, the open heat, Baylor University with a 9.750, and St. Leo with a 9.100, making the event totals 56.625 for Baylor University and a 52.350 for St. Leo University. And the total scores right now is going to be Baylor University with a 182.075 and St. Leo with a 174.850. And we're just going to take a little bit of a moment until St. Leo University steps on the mat for their team event, the last event of the night. Now hitting the floor is going to be the St. Leo Lions with the start value of a 99.84 with Baylor's 109.79 start value for team event. overall a pretty good team event. We did have a little bit of a bobble and a fall in the beginning. However, everything else was pretty good. And we'll be back to see the scores from both sides and see the winner of this meet. Alrighty, and the scores are in for the team event. St. Leo scored an 81.740 in team event, and Baylor University scored a 95.340, making those meet totals with Baylor University at a 277.415 and St. Leo at a 256.590. Both teams did very well, very, very well, and